Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What film made you say, holy shit, there is still 50 minutes left? Pearl Harbor. There's the climactic attack on Pearl Harbor. It's explosive and tragic. So many people getting hurt and killed. And then, the movie slows down. And keeps going. For another hour. Ugh. Pearl Harbor is a 2-hour movie squeezed into 3 hours. Roger Ebert. Pearl Harbor is a 2-hour movie squeezed into 3 hours. Roger Ebert. The second part of the quote is what does it for me? About how on Deck 7, 1941, the Japanese staged a surprise attack on an American love triangle. My dad always reminds me that it's a boring love story around the Pearl Harbor attack, not a war movie. My history teacher described it as written by somebody who wanted to make Titanic, but with a villain. So they spent 3 hours showing us a bland love story, and 30 minutes vilifying Japan. The funniest part is that they didn't need to make shit up to paint Imperial Japan as evil. They could have showed any number of atrocities. But they decided to lie about the Pearl Harbor attacks instead and show the Japanese deliberately targeting civilians. The Sound of Music. They get married and I said, that was a nice ending, and my wife says, the Nazis haven't arrived. There was a great story where they interviewed someone that grew up with only the first VHS. Thought that was the movie. Had zero clues. So they asked her to guess the plot, and watch it again. As a kid, literally she didn't notice that the mailman was a Nazi soldier. Just a nice boy. She is 16 going on 17, he's just a cute mailman. So upon watching as an adult, think it was an NPR story. Fun to listen to. I definitely didn't catch everything as a kid. It's on This American Life. Episode 751 titled, An Audience of One. It's in the archives. The story is about one of the producers of the show and managing editor, Diane Wu. Titanic, when you put that second tape in the VCR. Yes, that's how I saw it and couldn't believe there was still a whole tape to go. The second tape is the best part though. The Irishman 3.5-hour runtime was a little long for one sitting. I felt The Irishman was too long until I finished it. The whole thing builds up to an ending is such a gut punch. I'm not sure there's much you could cut that wouldn't take away from the weight of that ending. Edit. Definitely hard to finish in one sitting though. That made it the greatest gangster movie I've ever seen. Sure, Ace Rothstein and Henry Hill have downfalls at the end of their movies. But The Irishman was like, look what this life leads to. Miserable decrepit old men, rotting in prison, too weak to even push a bocce ball, rejected by their families, forgotten by the world, continuing to inflict pain on innocent people just because of fidelity to some stupid code even though everyone who could be protected by the code is dead. Full Metal Jacket in an excellent way. When I was a kid, my family used to watch this on Laserdisc. I think it's the only movie we had that you not only had to flip the disc, but there was a second disc. I'm pretty sure the multiple intermissions are why it was our family Christmas movie. Although my dad claims it's because they sing Happy Birthday to Jesus. Full Metal Jacket, the family Christmas movie that everyone will love. Full Metal Jacket fucked me up the first time I saw it. The tone shift was so drastic that I thought someone changed the movie when I went to the bathroom. 7.62mm. Full Metal Jacket. Cannot believe a scene like that would ever be the midpoint of a movie. I was exposed to that movie and Cheech and Chong on the same night by my babysitters when I was maybe 8. Love that movie. Batman, 2022, after the Riddler gets caught. And at the very end they show them, purposefully ambiguous, riding bikes. For like 10 minutes, an exaggeration. We have all collectively needed to pee for an hour. End already. TBF. The drunk dude in the theater when I saw it had already pissed all over himself and the floor of the rows directly in front well before that point. We all thought someone must have knocked over a soda cup when we heard the flowing liquid sound. Transformers Age of Extinction, that movie was so awful I never even finished it. Spoiler. Galvatron runs away like a bitch and Lockdown gets split in two by Optimus's thick metal rod. Then Optimus flies into space and says he's gonna destroy his creator. Lockdown gets split in two by Optimus's thick metal rod. Well then. My husband won free tickets. We went to the cinema together. I was actually enjoying it. I found the whole thing ridiculous and not believable but I enjoyed myself. Then there was a long time of explosions. And then the movie ended. I thought. I was like, great. 90 minutes is a good length for a movie. And then they went to fucking China and it took another hour to end. It was so incredibly boring which could all be avoided if they just cut it off at 90 minutes. Exactly. It's two separate movies. I have the opposite problem with David Lynch projects. You realize there's 10 minutes left. And there's no way he's going to wrap this up in that time and have it make sense. Unless he comes out right now and reads it to you. But I always come back for more. Like a victim of confused abuse. I never assume I will fully comprehend any David Lynch film ever. Even after the 20th rewatch. Without looking up additional theories online. It's pretty simple actually. David Lynch does not have a point to make or a message to tell viewers. He creates films to make you feel. I love The Return, but the last 10 minutes of part 18 I was like, please Lynch, I need closure. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Quote. Haha. Yeah. He doesn't like that. If it was up to him we'd never know who killed Laura Palmer.